Well, it's Cape Guineas Day. It's lovely to be here with you. Awaited to win this weekend as we get to the weekend before Christmas, and hope it's all been good for you so far. Waited to Win's had a little bit of a decent sort of run this week, which we're happy to report on, and we hope that we can continue to do so. Although, having chatted to Darren and Daryl, they sort of told me this Cape Town meeting is quite tough. It's not as easy as you think, but nevertheless, we're up for the challenge. We want to remind you about our social media platforms that we use, obviously, on Twitter, at Waited to Win's the handle, and of course we're on WhatsApp on 0691643272. Send in your name and number and email address and all of that sort of stuff. Just WhatsApp it to the admin department and we'll be in touch and give one of these away as well during this period. Okay, let's get straight into the action. I can tell you that the 11 races, there are a few buy-pots on today. There are 3 jackpots. There's a pick 6. There's a carryover into the pick 6. There's a carryover into the quartet of the main race. And pools are expected to be really exorbitant, which we are hoping for, because it's a single meet local race meeting. And we will be out in the beautiful Cape. Of course, the sponsor today is brought to you by Hollywood Bets. Okay. Let me start with you, Darren. Good morning. Let's talk about this. We're doing this Friday. Tell me about the first race and how we can get a bit of money out of race 1.
Yes, Clyde. I actually got a runner here. I bought shares in Kelp Forest as a yearling, a lovely Flower Alley gelding out of Seacat, who won, I think, 6 races, 4 listed races as well. He's doing exceptionally well at home. He will be looking for the bend in time to come. Pity about the one draw, because the draws normally favor middle outside, but he should be in the first 4. Horses to beat: Black Egret. I heard that the runners from the Highveld didn't travel too well and have taken time to settle. And the word is that he'll go very close to winning. So Black Egret, the first choice, over Rainbow Colours, Oz and Care, Gimme's Laddie, not out of it.
Okay, well, we wish you all the best with your baby, Kelp Forest. Daryl, your take on the first?
Yes, Clyde. The form is there for everyone to see. I just want to touch on a few work riders. Number Black Egret's work rider. Yara starts again, Clyde.
Yep.
His last 8 runners, he's had 3 winners.
Okay.
So he's very capable,
good.
And his confidence must be high. So I'm sure the fortunes are looking to crack the ice in the Western Cape. And then, obviously, Ozenker's first work rider, Sipiwe Feni. I heard in the post-race interview when he won his on Future Turn, I think it was, for the stable, they rate this work rider very, very highly.
Okay.
So obviously you have to throw him into all bets. A nice little roughie for the quartet, Clyde. Back end of the quartet, so in trifectas, number 12, Master Point, coming back in trip. The tongue tie goes on. I think he could sneak into the back end of a trifecta or quartet.
Okay.
So we're hoping for him to boost the dividend.
All right, well, let's thanks for that, Daryl. An update on the first race. Let's get some money out of race 1, so we get some of the exotics on as well. And here we go. We've got 1, 2, 5, 7, 8, 11, 12. That's what we're starting with in race 1. We'd like to take a quartet. You can spend whatever you can afford at it, and hopefully we get some sort of decent return. On to race number 2 now, the Hollywood Bet Summer Coronation Plate. It's the fillies over 1,000 metres in this event. Let me give an idea as to what the market looks like. Where, Darren, they've got Gareth van Zyl's horse up there. That's horse Miss Hannigan, trading at 15 to 4. It is an opportunity, of course, for buy-pots now. So what would you do in the first leg?
Clyde, there's 12 first-timers, I think, in the race, so very tricky. The only winner in the race is Miss Hannigan, but she's got to give away the 3 kilos. I heard whispers about Royals, number 9. They told me to take some 25 to 1. I see she shortened into 10 to 1, so follow the market closely. And then an interesting runner for me is number 6, Articuno. So Vercingetrix out of Manamu. Now, Manamu was very speedy over 1,000 meters. So follow the market with regards to Articuno.
Now, on the comments about Articuno, I see Brett Crawford working well, expecting a good run. And there's another one in here, Daryl, that makes reference to an each-way chance, which always is interesting. And that makes reference to number 14 on the card here. I'm just having a look at who that is. It's Golden Pacific. they're giving that a chance too as well. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's lots of unraced and unknown. Not
What
sure.
do we know over here, Clyde?
Yeah.
All we know is the race runners, and those are the two I've opted to put in the bipods. I'm hoping one of them helped me survive the first leg. This Charleston, that's number 8, 3 kilograms better off. She was staying on. I think she could get closer to the Miss Hannigan this time around. But Clyde, I'm just hoping to survive.
Hoping to survive for the bipod. Well, here's what it looks like. Race number 2. Daryl's gone. No, of course, no bankers. He's spending that kind of money, 600 Rand on the bipod
Yes.
today.
Very costly.
But
Take
if this
a
lands, I
percentage.
mean, you're going to get money out of this, right?
Well, Clyde, are they predicting some rain?
I heard there's somebody sent me a message to say they are forecasting Friday evening. I'm not sure if they did have any. I don't know. But yeah, once we see closer to race time, look out for the penetrometer reading. But that's a 600 Rand bipod. Let's get on. All right, place accumulators. The favourite and hopefully good enough to banker IC Blast, who's trading, I see, at 13 to 10, Darren, opening leg of the PA.
That's the right price, Clyde. You know, he ran a cracking second. He looked a winner at the 100-meter mark, and he got outrun by a very smart performance from Gimme Lightning. He holds 7 runners on collateral form on that run, and I think he should go close.
All right, so good enough for Darren. Daryl, for you?
Yes, and it was no surprise because he was supported in the market. Clyde,
Yeah.
so he was expected to run a decent race, and that he did. Just in the post-race interview, according to what I gathered, this horse, number 7, Speeding Bullet, was the stable fancy. So I think he could get slightly closer to RC Blast. The two of them have obviously got that one run under their belt.
Yeah.
And hopefully it brings them forward. But I'm happy to bank a number 8 RC Blast in the PA.
Okay, yeah, he's got a couple of links to spare over the others. All right, let's have a look at the exotic. I think it's fairly straightforward. Daryl, that's your banker, as you've mentioned. You're bankering the opener.
Yeah, many people are going to say, what am I not bankering Charles Dickens for? But yes, I've backed him up with Shoemaker, Clyde.
Okay, well, it's a very, very interesting play. Or what's at worst, what, double up?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, let's take it. Right, let's get to the pick 6 now. You're reminded there's a R1 million carryover in this race, and well, we're expecting hopefully a R6 million pick 6 pool this afternoon. Let's hold thumbs, and that is to be the case. Let's have a look at it, and well, many will be bankering Charles Dickens, one of which I know is definitely Darren Burrows. He rates us extremely highly, as is, I'm sure, the majority of the country. But we need to get through the first leg, Darren, so what do you suggest?
Well, I like this horse, Jazz Diva. Last time out, you should have seen how she quickened up late through runners to run third to Ella's Delight. And with natural improvements expected, drawn towards the outside, I think Jazz Diva is the horse to beat. I would include the KZN Raiders, Global Songstress and La Pura Vida. And then Great Cat is open to further improvement as well.
You'll be happy that Andre Now's come back to form now?
Absolutely. It was just a matter of time, Clyde.
Yeah,
let's be
of
honest.
course. Everybody has
Can't
their
keep
on
a
and
good
off
man
days.
down.
Yeah.
Yes, she's my top pick too. And you can see that Grant van Niekerk has jumped aboard her now. She's making good progress in each start. So it looks like she could crack it in her third outing. The stable companion, Clyde, number 9, Spring Kiss. I thought she made a fair enough debut. She caught the eye in the latter stages. Could have finished a length closer, but for the interference. Lots of scope for improvement. She's well related, so don't be surprised to see her feature. And also number 8, Great Cat. Misbehaved terribly last time out at the pens. I'm hoping they've reschooled her and she can have her mind on the job this time around and keep that energy for the race itself. And I think she's open for improvement. So in order, 11, 9, 8.
11, 9, 8 from Daryl. Let's get a pick 6. This is Darren's pick 6 now. And Darren's been in pretty good form. And Darren, that's Charles Dickens, right? We're bankering that.
Yes, Clyde, we've caught 3 pick 6s in the last 9 days, so we're going strong at the moment, and this is going to be a massive pull I was going to play to cover Charles Dickens, but then just having a look at his replays again and the way the race is going to pan out, I believe he'll win.
Welcome back, guys. Let's get on to race number 5. Naturally, a jackpot opportunity for everybody here, race 5 on the card. And I want to start with Darren. Firstly, Darren, let me get an idea on the market quickly so we know where we stand. They are betting 4 to 1 the field, so generally an open race, but Priceless tops the boards at 4 to 1 at the moment. Second choice is number 3, Raising Quinn at 5s. But I know you fancy a bit of Broadway Girl. I see that's trading at 10 to 1 at the moment, or rather Desert Rose is trading at 10 to 1.
Yes, I like Desert Rose quite a lot, Clyde. I actually liked her last time out. I actually included her in the pick 6, and she came from the back of the field, switched towards the inside, and she was taking off. Now, I believe the mile is going to be ideal for her. This filly came to the course with a reputation. She won a maiden first time out by 3 lengths. She sort of lost her way, and they weren't sure what the right trip was for her. She tried 1,900 meters twice, too far. I just liked her first run in Cape Town, and I think she'll build on that effort. So a nice each-way bet, and then include a couple into your play for exotics.
Well, I know you want to show the Desert Rose rerun, which we'll do in a moment. I just want to get Daryl's view quickly on what you like here in this jackpot opener.
I like the 4 Priceless, Clyde. You know, she came up on the connections on debut. They said it was far too short for her. Excuse me, Clyde. Then next time out, she stepped up to 6 furlong. Also, in my opinion, too short for her. She's unexposed over this distance. She now steps up to a mile. Her half-sister by Captain L won over 2,000 meters. So in my opinion, she could be well ahead of the handicapper if she's more effective over this trip. So she's my leading light in race number 5. I think her stable companion, number 5, Catalea, could run a fair race. I mean, last time out, she contested the Western Cape Fillies Championship. In her penultimate start, she just got going too late. But for another stride, she would have been the winner on that occasion. So, being by Silvana, I don't believe we've seen the best of her yet. So, I'm leaning towards the Brett Crawford to Inmate Sevilla.
Okay, so you're on the Brett Crawford horse. Let's quickly, we promised the Gareth Van Zyl rerun, which we'll show you in a moment. Here's a quick look at what we want to do in this race in terms of race number 5, and Darren's put that together where is going into Bank of the 11 at the back, and that's a 200 Rand spend on this jackpot. It is jackpot 2, by the way, when you mark that up. All right, let's quickly have a look at then the Desert Rose, who's on the far right-hand side of the picture here, Desert Rose. You'll see in the purple colour, still quite a bit of ground to make up. Treasure Hunt ends up winning this race, comes through to pick it up in the closing stages. There hasn't been too, well, in fact, I haven't seen anyone that's come out and run, actually. Perfect Trust is in here, Fur Baby, Act Naturally, and you'll see now how Desert Rose tries to wear Treasure Hunt down. Takes a little bit of time to do so, but does seem to be staying on well in the closing stages and must have some sort of claim here. On to the 6th. I'll go over the 1,000 here. Let's talk to Darren Burrows about the race. She's my captain's 11-2, but joint Darren with Jury Duty, who I want to ask you about from Adam Stable. What does he say? I'll find out any news if you've spoken to them. Axel's trading 6 to 1 as the third choice, number 11 on the card, and Greg Enyon hasn't been too bad in terms of his form. They've got Wordsworth here trading at 13 to 2, but it does have a really open look to it. What do you know, Darren?
Well, last time out, Adam gave us Jury Duty, and I did tip her on the show, and she did arrive at a decent price, around 8 to 1. I haven't spoken to him this time around, but surely she's got a big chance with 52.5 kilos. Axel returns after a bit of a break, but he's got ability. I know that he works the house down at home, but he hasn't quite produced. So maybe the rest has done him a world of good. The two horses with big rating drops are Persistence and Silver Salmon that I'm looking for improvement with.
Interesting. Axel in particular That form line's deadly, eh?
Yeah, but he's been off the track 200 odd days, Clyde. You can have a look at the jockey arrangements. I mean, obviously Grant van Niekerk had the choice between himself or between Superior Leader and Axel. Then he's opted to take the ride on Axel, which does give you a bit, a bit of hope in terms of his well-being and fitness. In the front of the book, it says he has had a gallop. So, reading in between the lines, they are expecting a decent performance. I wouldn't be shocked to see Superior Leader right there. Back in 1,000, I think he's got a each-way chance. King Mo has now been gelded. Silver Salmon, fair return last time out. He hasn't lived up to expectations, but he does have ability. Clyde, the first leg of the second bipod, I think I've gone 5 horses. If I survive, I've done well.
Hoping to survive. Well, I'm saying Axel because Tchaikovsky won again, We're Jamming won again, Fort Red won again. Axel's the only horse that hasn't run from there, and perhaps, if not in need of the run, got a serious claim, and perhaps Daryl can survive with that horse in the first leg. Well, 2, 3, 9, 10, 11, by 3 and 4, by 7 and 11, by 3, 7, 11, by 3, 4, 5, by 2, 3, 9. No, you're not seeing things. He's trying to run Charles Dickens over. Well, the unbeaten Love in Winter comes back to the races today, runs in race 7, is top of the boards, and quite rightly so, at 33 to 10. Second choice at 11 to 2 is number 8 on the card for Lucinda Woodruff, Dean Street. But I guess Love in Winter so far so good, Darren. I mean, one can't fault how this has performed to date.
Yes, he's a nice horse. He won last time out. He was hard-ridden. He just got up to beat Tchaikovsky. But then I went on like a sort of collateral form, bluff on bluff. Now, last time out, we landed a curve from 25 to 1 into 12 to 1. And he was battling to get a split. And he finally switched towards the inside and he took off. He had Tchaikovsky well behind him. So the fact that he's receiving 5.5 kilos from Love in Winter, I'm going to have to go with bluff on bluff over Love in Winter. And then for minor money, Red Impact and Dean Street.
No, that makes a lot of sense to me. You, Daryl?
Sure. Clyde, this is a difficult race. I'm hoping to survive exotics. Sundays, last time out, I don't know if you recall, the stable said this is a prep run. So I'm assuming it's for this race. My concern is it's 1,000 meters, Clyde. If they've had a little bit of rain and this thing is out of the ground, I think he'll be doing his best work late and he could run into the money. And then Red Impact with 52.5 to shoulder. I think if he pushes forward, he could notch up his second victory, but this is wide open event.
Yeah. Sundays, I think you're right. The concern, of course, is this distance. 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 is what Daryl recommends we do in trifectas. Darren is going back again with bluff on bluff. The race we've been waiting for, the Hollywood Bets Cape Guineas. What a fantastic lineup we've got. And they take on the almighty Charles Dickens in a race like this, who's priced up at around 5 to 10 to win. Second choice, number 14, Cousin Casey. Glenn Cotson has not laid down about this. He's made it known to everybody. This is one of the best he's seen. It's trading at 5 to 1 at the moment. And 7, Shoemaker for the Michael de Kock stables at 11 to 1. Union Square, I see he's 20 at my command. They're priced up at around 14s. The other one that I like here, Ansfield Rocket, is trading at around 20 or 25 to 1. But it's a fantastic lineup. Darren, I'll start with you. We just know how impressive Candace Best. We've read it, we've heard it. This is the best they've ever had, and the Basses are now hoping to win their first guineas.
This horse is top class, Charles Dickens. Now, the only concern is if he over races. But last time out, he switched off perfectly at the back of the field. I think he's going to be switched off the pace once again because he's going the mile for the first time. And as long as he settles into a rhythm, I think he'll run past him quite comfortably. He's got at my command Stone Cold on the Cape Classic form. Cousin Casey beat at my command a length last time out. He did give him 2 kilos. But I just feel that Charles Dickens has a lot more to come. Shoemaker, I'm quite surprised he's not entered for the Met, because this I thought was a Cape Derby or a Met horse. He's going to be best over 2,000 meters, in my opinion, and he will be doing good late work.
It's interesting because when we had Mike the Cock on the show, he sort of indicated, did he indicate Shoemaker was more the miler, if I remember correctly, and Union and the other were the 2,000-meter horses.
Correct.
But the big name horses in your are drawn poorly. And pace, where's the pace here? What do you think this is going to work out?
I don't know.
Is Dave the King going to the front? You know, that's what's the pace? So is it the Cape Crawl again, or because I don't know if they're going to be held up, and if you turn for home, which side are they going to go to the course? So they're coming to the outside.
Jockeys are going to be jostling for position early, so that they're going to go in the early stages. Whether they slow it up around the bend, I don't know. But one thing's for sure is I don't think they're going to change tactics with Charles Dickens. It's drawn 11. They're going to give him a chance. I don't see Aldo bouncing him out and going forward. Do you think that can happen?
No.
Okay. Now, my concern, I don't know if this is going to make any sense. We've recorded this on Friday morning, Clyde. I don't know if they come into the outside fence around the bend.
But they have been, haven't they, of late, when they turn for home? Haven't they been coming to the outside?
They have.
At Kenilworth in particular.
So now, Charles Dickens is going to be given a chance. I'm sure Aldo wants to come to the best going, like he did on Charles Dickens last time out. If they all opt to go towards that outside running rail, is he going to get a run? You're going to need a lot of luck in running. You might have the horse, but he's going to need to find the gaps. So for that reason only, because it is a big field, they could get clustered out on the outside fence. I've opted to include Shoemaker. Now, in my opinion, he ran below par in the Dingons based on his Grandbeck run. I mean, in the Grandbeck, he should have won that by 4 lengths, but for the interference. So in his second run after arrest in the Dingons, Union Square got the better of him. I don't believe he was quite at his best. He has a Mark de Kock trained runner. Going into the Cape Guineas with his peak run, he's had a great preparation. If things don't work out for Charles Dickens, I think Shoemaker will be the one to beat.
Very interesting analysis. Hollywood Bet sponsored this race, and they've now taken over this horse, Ansfield Rocket. Anfield's Rocket, and Gavin Arena's riding it.
What happened to Caden? Is he suspended, or is it just because of the grade 1, or what has he done wrong?
No, I haven't spoken to Grant about it, but I know this is a very good horse. They like this horse very much in terms of ability, you know. So I don't know. I see that the boys are not putting him in the play, but I think he's definitely a trifecta quartet horse, the 13. Because he may well jump, and who knows? I remember his last start, he was right up there at the 600. Here's a look at what Charles Dickens did a few runs ago. You'll have a look just how impressive this horse is. He's got an engine like you've never seen. 300, 200, 100 to go now. Glides into the lead and starts to get the better of the rest of the field over here. You'll notice that in behind that, at my command, Dave the King, Port Louis countdown, but he trounced them. And he's very impressive. Let's get on to the 9th race now, the Richmond Highlands Peninsula Handicap. Always a good race every single year. And Darren Burrows has got a bit of a shrewdy that he's found for us, priced up at about 10 to 1. So I'll leave the floor to you, Darren.
Yes, Clyde, I like this horse, Imi Lenzi Yoko Doduma. He's a lightly raced 4-year-old. He's coming on the right way. I think he's well ahead of the handicapper. And with 52 kilos and a 3 draw, I expect him to go very well. As long as he sees out the 1800, should be no problem. Dangers, Winchester Mansion at a massive price. I think he's overpriced. I think he's a massive runner up in trip. And then Airways Law, the word that I've heard is he's flying at home. It's his first run after the July, and they're expecting a big run.
All right, well, in terms of Emilenzi Yoko Kaduduma, I do know that Peter Muscat is having a very good time in the Cape, and his horses are well. And they beat this horse Silvano's Dasher, didn't they, last time?
Yes.
It came out and won, so that form's already been franked.
That's right.
So Darren might be onto something. You like it?
Yes, I do like it, Clyde. You know, it's funny how this game works. I mean, we went for this horse in a big way. 3 runs back on the Gravel Poly, and it looked like he was cantering, and he just couldn't finish that race off. Look what he's done since then. He's obviously well above average. He's a son of dynasty and improving with each and every start. He's one for the shortlist of year. I also like the look of number 11 of here, Future Prince. You know, he had an injury. He was off for quite some time. They brought him back in a sprint. He finished 4 lengths off them. A very encouraging comeback start. Last time out in a pinnacle, he ran 3 lengths behind Captain's Ransom out at the weights. Excuse me, Clyde. Yuri is back in a handicap. Well, now in a handicap with 52 kilograms to shoulder, going the right trip. I think he's going to push forward from his wide draw. Watch out for a big effort from number 11, Future Prince. And outside I'm including is number 7, Chalima. At the weights, he could certainly sneak into the back end of the trifecta. I think he's 3 kilograms better off with the likes of Silvano's Timer, Somerset Morn, those runners, even Warrior. So he's having his peak run, and he's not a bad sort, Clyde. If you're looking for a place bet in this race, I'd recommend Chalima. But our top pick is Future Prince ahead of Emilienza Yokotoduma, followed by Chalima for the roughie.
All right, there are a few shooties in there if you were listening, but if you weren't, here's what we got for you in writing. We can tell you that the Darren Burrows outright selection, Emilienza Yokotoduma, is the one to beat in the 9th race, currently Friday at 10-1. Welcome back, guys. Let's get on to the 10th race, the Hollywood Bets Victor Stakes. It's run over 1,800 meters. It's a Group 3 event. And from a betting perspective, on the Friday, they had Marina top of the boards at 13-10 and Chazonnet 14-10 as second choice. But those two dominating the market. Are you expecting them to fight it out, Darren, or have you got respect for Silver Darling?
No, I think it's a 2-horse race, Chansonette and Marina. Now, I've seen lately, for quite a while now, Grant van Niekerk likes to restrain a horse to the back of the field as the gates open. And I don't think that was in Chansonette's favour last time out, because she had a lot of ground to make up and she was a bit in need of the run. So I'm hoping she's in a decent position, just midfield, 3rd, 4th. And I think peak fitness, she should be the horse to beat over Marina for 2nd.
Okay, so you're going with Chansonnet. What are you going with?
Yeah, funny enough, Clyde, I said to myself, I hope he's not going to drop her out once again. Okay. And I think he's going to push forward. Don't be surprised to see him take it up. Clyde, the only concern is that it is Friday morning and there's rain predicted. I don't know, the 1,800 on a soft track, is it going to come up soft by this time of the day?
Yeah.
I'm not too sure. If it is the case, have a look at Silver Darling's runs in the soft. She tends to be at her best with some giving the ground. So I don't know what the conditions are, but if it's good, I expect Chansonnet to get it right.
Yeah. Tell me about Marina. Any? I understand that based on that last outing, but what's the story?
I'm expecting Chansonnet to reverse that.
To reverse it, okay. All right, well, that's fairly straightforward. They're all on to Chansonnet to win this. And Darren saying the respect for Marina, Chansonnet the one to beat. 4 and 5 is the recommended play. The last race, 11th race, hopefully it's been a good one for you. We're going into the handicap. It's a handicap at the 90 level. It's over the mile. It's the final event out at Hollywood Bets Kenilworth. And in this event, what does the market suggest we should do? Well, it's showing that number 4, Runaway Song, is 3-1, top of the boards at the moment. Justin Snate's got Future Swing in here at 15-4. So they are basically the Snate stable dominating the 11th and final. And I'm sure they're expecting to win the last. Darren, your take on it?
I like this horse, Future Swing. You know, he comes into the race with 52 kilos to shoulder, and he looks a very progressive sort. So I would favour Future Swing. This horse, Greenkov, I've always rated, but they keep on dropping him out of the race early, and he has too much work to make up. I'm hoping they change tactics and push forward, because he's got ability, but they've just given him no chance lately. And then Runaway Song's in form has to be right there.
Okay, well, you may have picked up on something. Why so far back on Grinkov is an interesting question. Maybe Louis Makotwa will change that. What do you think, Daryl Marie, the last race?
Yeah, I think with only 7 runners in, well, barring himself, he's not going to be too far behind. I'm expecting them to push forward because he is having his peak run now, Clyde. So he's super fit. His tongue gets tied for the first time. Louis takes a ride.
You're sounding tongue-tied.
Yeah. So he's actually my top pick.
Yeah.
And then I've got respect for the likes of Future Swingers, Darren touched on, and Triple Time, number 2. Clyde, I think he's actually a nice sort, and I think Grant will suit him. So it's quite a tricky event. Unfortunately, my top pick comes out in Sugar Mountain. But I think Grinkov, on his day, if there's a little bit of give in the ground, that will certainly suit him. Because I don't know if you recall, we had Piers Stradom.
Yes.
And he said he wasn't happy with this horse's tail or something.
Stiff tail.
So maybe if it is soft at this stage, he could... we could see the best of him.
Make a difference. All right. Well, it's not an easy race, as you heard what the boys have to say. So for our 11th and final time today, this is the recommendation from Daryl. He's saying, why don't you take some of the swingers and use Triple Time, Future Swing, and number 9 on the card, Grinkov, as the play.